Welcome to part 2 of Dark Souls 3. As you can see, we are in the Undead settlement. Now for this next part, we're just going to jump right back into it and continue where we left off. You want to come through this building here. There are these assassins that pop out, as you can see on the floor. Just be ready to attack them. And when you come out here, there's going to be an item that you can grab off of this dead body. Now mind you, this whole area is filled with enemies, so you'll have to clear them out first. But then you can grab Loretta's bone. That's a quest item that we'll need. And then on the tree itself is going to be an Estus Shard, so we can upgrade our Estus Flask. After grabbing that, we're going to grab a Covenant trophy that is technically missable if you don't discover this area first. So in order to do it, we're going to come back over to the right side of this sort of square. You're going to find this spot here with a bridge. Again, there's going to be a few enemies on your way here. I've cleared them out for the video, but there's a few assassins as well as just your normal kind of grunt type enemies. Make your way forward and then up the ladder. And once you make it to the very top, you're going to stay at the very edge of the house. So don't fall down just yet. I don't believe this enemy aggro's off memory, but just to be safe, I recommend, waiting until he is faced away from you and he's coming back down the hill here, and then that way you can sort of creep up on him. Don't be suspicious about it. Just kind of roll up on my boy here, and then you want to press X when you're standing behind him, and then you'll jump inside his cage. After you've done that, it's going to trigger a cutscene of him just walking away with you in the cage, and then you'll eventually end up here with this NPC. Go ahead and speak to the NPC and say indeed, so the first option. And then talk with him again, get the Mound Maker's item, which will also give you the Covenant trophy. And as always, just exhaust his dialogue. I believe he gives you some homeward bones as well. Yep, there you go. And those are really handy for returning back to a bonfire if you ever need to, or as well as to return to the Firelink shrine. After you've done all that, you can actually use one of the homeward bones. And then we're going to use it to go back to the bonfire that we last rested at. So this should be back at the Undead settlement. We're at the square here where we grab the Estus Shard. Again, timestamps will be in the bottom of the video. This time we're going to go left instead of the right path that we went on. We're going to go through this doorway here, drop down this hole, and inside here we can get another trophy. If you're low HP as well, you can drink this and it'll heal you. It's that perp skirt from up north. Someone just left it there. And then you can grab the Warrior of Sunlight item to the left and get another trophy. Make sure you grab that because that's for a Covenant and we want to use those later on in the guide. After that, you can open up the door. Make your way to the right past these guys here. You can see that those are actually enemies. You don't want to go near them where they start like beating the shit out of you with their legs. And you can just run past all of these enemies if you like. And we're going to run all the way down. And I'll kind of look around so you can get a reference point. But basically, yeah, if you just roll down, you can kind of dodge to the side here if that dude up top starts attacking you. Make your way down. Thankfully, the next bonfire is just down below. Now, if you are embered right here, you will be invaded. For now, you can avoid him if you want. We're just going to go to the Firelink shrine from this bonfire. And we're going to upgrade our flask. Then that way, if you have any more trouble going through the area, at least you have an extra heal. So head over to the blacksmith back at the Firelink shrine. Upgrade your flask. We then head back to the Dilapidated Bridge, bonfire, and you want to be embered like I said before because the phantom here will only invade you when you're embered. So if you're not embered, go ahead and use one. If you don't have one, you can buy one from the Firelink Shrine Maiden as well. If you still can't buy one or get your hands on one, it's not really a big deal. You can avoid this part. It just means you'll have to farm one a bit later, which isn't really a big deal. So once you're embered, if you make your way up a bit, then he should invade you. I recommend luring him down here or killing that guy beforehand, whatever you can do. Now, my man is a bit fucking slow, but just wait for him. He'll eventually come to you. He starts aggroing as you get a bit closer to him. After you kill him, you'll get a Vertebra Shackle. And these are these items that we need for the Covenants. But again, if you can't get that one, it's not a huge deal. We'll just farm more later. Use the bonfire to fast travel to the Undead settlement. And again, we're traveling through that house that we did before. And you can just roll past the enemies. You don't have to kill them. You can if you need extra souls, or maybe you want to level up. Maybe you're struggling. Obviously, you wouldn't be because you're a lot better than my ass. But we're going to go around here, drop down. This time we're going to go to the right side again, but instead of going off that path to the right, where the Mound Makers was, we're going to go straight past these guys here. And you get some invincibility frames whenever you open a door. So if you're quick, you can just run past all these enemies, and there's going to be an assassin that drops down, but you can just open up the door. You'll get invincibility frames, then you can start spamming the roll button. And if you run past these really quick, you can roll and then drop down. You'll take a little bit of damage, but then you can roll under the actual area here and grab another bonfire. So another checkpoint for us. Activate the bonfire. Once you've done that, you can make your way outside the other path. Go up the staircase and then around up this building. Now once you're in this building, you'll go through a hallway. There'll be some enemies there that you can take out. And then to the left here is going to be another NPC we can send back to the Firelink Shrine. This is the Pyromancer. So ask him to learn Pyromancy. And after you've done that, he should disappear. He'll go to the Firelink Shrine. And then there's a ring that we can grab in this area as well before we leave. You can drop down onto this building here and then drop down again so you don't take damage. You'll see this sort of like guillotine platform over here. And if you go behind it, there's a little bit of a bridge with a ring next to an enemy. This ring is great because it helps our pyro build. So this will increase your damage for any fire abilities or fire spells. So that's one that we will want to equip. So if you have that one now, go ahead and equip it. You should. Or if your friend dropped it to you, you can equip it if you're using my build. Whatever works best for you. And then make your way down here. There's going to be these enemies that eat some pots at you. So you just want to run past them and dodge. And then you can keep running past. You can use the door up ahead for the iframes to kind of dodge their attacks. But they'll likely still be aggro to you, so I recommend trying to kill them. I also recommend killing them outside of the door, otherwise they could possibly make the NPC on the inside aggressive. I'm not sure why that happens, but I just, try to avoid that. After that, you can speak with this NPC over here and go through his dialogue. So exhaust his dialogue, just keep talking to him until he's repeating the same thing. And if you remember, we grabbed a longbow towards the beginning of the guide. And the reason we grabbed it is for this moment now. So you can equip it even though we don't have the stats for it. You can press right on the D-pad to pull it out and then equip it. And you want to go to the left side here because wherever you shoot it from is kind of where this body will go flying. And you want to shoot it from the left side so then it falls off of the cliff. If you mess that up, you can rest at a bonfire and it should reset. But again, shoot it from the left side and you will grab the flame stoneplate ring. After that, head back inside to the NPC, exhaust his dialogue. He'll introduce himself and all of that good stuff. This guy, we will be doing a quest line throughout the guide. He's got a few gestures for us as well. And he's also got a spell for us, if I remember correctly. But either way, exhaust his dialogue and then head down the lift. So we just make our way down the lift. And I'm going to show you this area for the first time because there's a little bit of a special thing about this lift. And we'll be coming right back to the lift in a moment. We're coming down here to grab a bonfire just to make our life a little bit easier. And there is an enemy in this next room, so just be careful. If you're really quick, you can grab the ember right here to the right. In case you want an extra ember. But you need to be quick, otherwise he's going to start going apeshit on you. Once you're outside the door, you're fine. He won't come outside. Go ahead and activate the bonfire. And you can rest if you need to as well. And then we're going to make our way back up the lift that we came down from. So head back inside. We go up the lift back to this room we were in before. But what you want to do is press the lift button and then let it go down. Because there's 2 platforms on this lift. So the fact that we let it go down now, this top one is going to be at our level. And then we can use that to ride to the upper floor. So once you're ready and it's come down, make your way to the very top. You can hear someone talking. That's the NPC we just met. But we're not going to go there yet. We're going to go to the very top, and you're going to see a stairway here. Go up the stairs, and you're going to find a giant. Do not attack him. You just want to talk to him. So press X, and then make peace. He's going to help us a bit later now that we've made peace with him. So he's one of the real ones. He's gonna have our back, right? We're getting gangbang. He's gonna be the leader. I mean, the one that saves us. After that, we're gonna head back down the lift, and you want to just be ready to jump onto this platform. So it's about midway down the lift. You'll see a wooden platform. You can ride the elevator back up if you miss it, but do that, and then you'll find the NPC again, Siegeward. So go ahead and speak to him. And again, we're exhausting his dialogue, and he's going to help us on this next fight. Okay, and after you go through his dialogue, if you want, again, you can be using the deep battle axe in the meantime, or you can stick with the longsword, whatever you think is going to do the big damage. So for this, I was just using the axe. And right at the start, he's actually going to jump in and try and help you on the fight. And this is really good for juggling the aggro a bit. So if you feel like, you know, you're getting your shit kicked in like I am, I'm just showing you for example. Like, obviously, I had no issues with this guy. And as you can see, he took aggro, and then I can go behind him and start doing the damage. Once you kill him, you're going to get a fire gem. So again, just try until you beat him. You have his help as well. And he's also going to give us 2 gestures right now, so we can knock those off of our list. So in order to get both of them, just ensure that you go through all of his dialogue options and he basically falls asleep on you. Before we leave the area, we're going to grab a Covenant item that'll come in handy a bit later. If you go around the back here, jump on the roof of this house, you can attack this dead body to fall down, and you can find a pale tongue. This is a Covenant item, again, that we'll be using a bit later. After that, to get out of this area, you want to go up this way. Go up the stairs. I've sped it up just for convenience for you guys. Go up the stairs. Watch out for those hanging enemies. You don't have to grab that item. It's nothing of importance. And then watch out for the dogs coming up as well. Next up, you have 2 of the big boy enemies, and you can just run straight past them. And then up here, we're actually going to grab another ring. So you get the Flynn's ring, and there's also one more ring we can get from this area by dropping down into this tower. So make sure you don't fall off the edge like I almost did. I was just showing you an example of what not to do. And what you want to do right here is go around the side before going in the doorway. Grab the 2 homeward bones, because we're going to end up using one here in a moment. And then you can come inside this doorway. Sign me up to be the doorway. And then you can drop down. And behind these barrels over here is going to be the next ring. So just break through the boxes. There you go, we have our next ring. And as you come out here, you'll see this is that area. If you don't want to use a homeward bone, you can go up the stairs to the right, and that'll lead you back to that bonfire. But if you're lazy like me, we're going to go into our inventory, click a homeward bone, and we're going to go back to the bonfire that we last rested at. We want to be at the Dilapidated Bridge again, because our next area that we go to is directly north, or straight from the bonfire here. We can actually just run past this enemy. You can just completely ignore him. We're going to go into this next area that you can see a bunch of javelins that have been thrown there. And if you remember that giant we made peace with, who's one of the real ones, who's basically going to have our back, well, this is where he comes in handy, because these 2 guys think they can square up to you.
Surprise, motherfucker!
And you're going to fuck around, you're going to find out, right? So sure enough, these guys get blasted. So you can just come through here, looting everything. You got some embers, some young white branches. Be careful, there's still more enemies. The giant still had my back. He's an absolute beast. Like, look at him, man. He's just taking them out, bro. Like, I don't even need to do anything. Look at that. Deleted. Next up, we're going to get an Undead Bone Shard, and you can see it's over there on that dead body. You want to run with circle or the left analog stick, and then click it again right before you hit that gap, and that's going to make you do, I don't know if I can call it a jump because it's a very baby bitch jump, but it's a jump, right? He does a little hopscotch, and you grab the Undead Bone Shard. Carefully make your way back onto this part here, and there's a few items we want to collect in the area before we leave. So again, from right here as a reference point, we're at that center area where all that loot was. If you go to the top by all of these gravestones, you're going to find an item on a body over to the left. These are the Mortician's Ashes. We need to grab those. After you grab those, we can just turn back around and we're going to go through the doorway into that building. There might still be some enemies because some kind of hide in the building here, so just be careful. You can run up here, go past this area, and then straight through the doorway. Now there's going to be a boss to our left, but a shortcut to our right. So if we open the door to the right, that's going to be a shortcut unlocked for us. So go ahead and open that. After you've opened it and we have that shortcut unlocked, we can then go after the boss. When you go into the boss room, there's going to be a lot of these little ads or enemies that are around. You can quickly take them out, and then this big tree dude is going to spawn. Now, even though my IQ is in the negatives, anyone can determine that the weak spot is in his balls. That's pretty much the weak spot for anything that has balls. And all you want to do is just keep hacking away at them until they burst. So you'll see that you don't do a lot of damage to them, but once they actually burst, that's when the damage is done. So yeah, just go around. The one at the front is exposed, as well as the one on his hand and his leg. So you can see here on the left leg, that one didn't take much to break. And then there's some on his hand here, and we're just going to go for those. I don't know if you'd even call it a hand, because it's just a giant tree. But eventually, once you get them low enough, you're going to fall down. And I don't think you have to swing your weapon to, survive that, but you can do that just to be safe. And then again, hit his balls until he's dead, and you will get a trophy as well as the Transposing Kiln. This is what we're going to use to trade boss souls in, but we won't do that till a bit later. And I'll make sure that I let you guys know what to turn in, so then you guys could be more overpowered. Make the journey a little bit easier. But grab the bonfire after you've defeated him, and go to the Firelink Shrine. Now that we're in the Firelink Shrine, we're just going to do a bit of quest or side cleanup. And what we do is we go in here past the blacksmith to the left, and you're going to find Grey Rat. I think that's how you pronounce that. Anyway, speak to him, go through all of his dialogue options, and then give him the Loretta's bone that we picked up from the Undead settlement. That was on the dead body right at the start of that area. After you've given him that, go ahead and talk to him until he's repeating himself. He's basically letting us know that we can keep the ring that we got from him in part 1 of my guide. After he's repeating himself for quite some time, you want to go to options and then quit the game. This is going to force the area to refresh. Reload the game, and he should still be there. Talk to him, you're going to get the curl up gesture, so that's another gesture off the list. After getting the gesture, you just want to go through his dialogue till he's repeating again, quit the game, and then reload, and then go through his dialogue yet again. Now, this time his dialogue is basically going to have an option, and you want to choose Send Him to Pillage. After you've sent him to Pillage, you can talk to him a few times just to kind of progress it, make sure that everything has been registered, and then you can quit one last time, and then reload the game, and as you see, he'll be gone now. So you need him to be gone, get all that stuff from him, and then you can proceed with the guide. Go up the stairs, make our way back towards this area here. Speak to the Shrine Handmaid and give her the Umbral Ash Mortician's Ashes. Doing that unlocks more items in her store. So if you can see now, we go to purchase item. Down here, she's going to have a grave key for 1,500 souls. If you don't have enough, you can use some of those minor souls, but please do not use the boss souls. Whatever you do, do not click them, but you should have enough anyways from clearing the area. After that, what we can do here is from the tree guy, we got a Transposing Kiln. This is where you can turn in the boss souls. So give that to this guy, but don't turn in any of the souls. Again, do not turn in any of the souls at this point in the guide. Otherwise, you could lock yourself out of trophies and then have multiple playthroughs. After you give that item to him, then come to the very top of the throne and grab the cracked eye orbs from this guy here. You then can also go to the bonfire down below, burn your undead bone shard, and then travel to the Firelink Shrine again to refresh the area. There's a trophy for burning the undead bone shards, and it upgrades your healing flask potency, basically. But after you refresh the area, go ahead and speak to him again. he's going to tell you have to kill a Dark Wraith, and he's going to give you a Lift Chamber key. If he's not giving you the key, you need to refresh it again. So again, just make sure you grab the cracked red eye orbs, the Lift Chamber key, and exhaust all of his dialogue and refreshing the area in order to progress that quest line. After that, we'll make our way back through to where the blacksmith is, but this time we're going to go to the right. We're going to drop down and you're going to see the Pyromancer that we saved. This is Cornyx. And the good news is we can at least start upgrading our Pyromancy flame because he's going to give it to you now. Using Titanite shards and things like that, you can upgrade it to do more damage. And he also sells a fireball attack, which you can start out with as kind of your basic attack until we unlock a really beast attack. But go through all of his dialogue options, and once he's repeating himself, just walk away and talk to him again. After you do that, you're going to get a gesture from him. So again, just make sure you go through the dialogue, walk away, and then talk to him again. So as I said before, you can reinforce the Pyromancy flame, or you can also learn Pyromancies, and there's Pyromancies like the Fire Orb and things like that. But we'll eventually be getting one that does a lot of damage, and it actually kind of throws it at the target, so it makes bosses really, really easy. So if you want, you can start with a fireball just to kind of get you going. Eventually, we will be able to upgrade to that big giant fire attack, and we're going to do a lot of damage at a distance, which is going to be really useful. You can also buy the Flash Sweat as well, which gives you fire resistance, and we might use that at some point as well. So you can buy that one if you'd like as well, but I'd just kind of focus at least on the fireball. And then any remaining souls you have left, just go ahead and use them to level up your vigor. If you're already 25 vigor, you can go on to the next skill. And again, I will have the recommended skill tree in the pinned comment below of each video, since it was listed only in part 1. So that way you guys always have that as a reference. Once you're ready, we can go to the Tower on the Wall bonfire. Now, Tower on the Wall is going to lead us down the tower itself. So you're going to drop down again. You're going to avoid the enemies behind barrels, and then you'll come through this gate over here that we were given the lift chamber key for. Make your way down the lift, and you will find a Dark Wraith. He's not too challenging. He kind of just does the same attacks. You can get a stealth attack or a visceral on him as well if you walk up behind him. That'll take a decent chunk of his health away, and you'll get the red eye orb. So go ahead and grab the red eye orb as well as the rest of his loot if he dropped anything, and then make your way back up to the lift, and we're going back to the Firelink shrine. You can make your way all the way back to the top. If you have extra homeward bones, you can use that as well, since you can buy them from the maiden at the Firelink shrine. Now, I obviously went the homeward bone route because I'm really fucking lazy. But once you get back to Firelink shrine, head back up the stairs and we will get our gesture. Again, you want to exhaust all of his dialogue just to make sure that we've, progressed the quest, and then go to the bonfire down below. You can also use the attune spell to put on your fireball or your flash sweat, whatever you purchased, just so you can start using your pyromancy flame. Once you've done that, regardless, we can go to the Cliff Underside bonfire. Now, once you make it to the Cliff Underside bonfire, head back up this area here, up the building, and then drop down. Well, you want to drop down on the building over here first, just so you don't take fall damage. But make your way down the stairs, drop down the rock here, and then again, you see those enemies that eat stuff, but this time we're going to go to the right. Try and avoid the dog. The damn wall kept getting in my way. I swear to God, that shit's so annoying. But try and get him before you get stuck on the wall like I did. Then you can make your way down the ladder there and go left. There's going to be a lot of rats. You can use your shield if you find them a bit annoying. You can let them attack the shield. That staggers them for a second, and then you can just take them out with a light attack. You can also use the special attacks. Don't forget about that. They're really, really handy. Okay, as you make your way into there, you'll see the fog. A big giant rat will come out, and you're just going to fuck him up. He's got two little guys with him as well. So just kind of back up as you need to. You can see the fire damage does a fair bit as well. And he drops a ring. So that gives us another ring as well. And then after that, we can just head through this cell door. This is that grave key that we bought from the Handmaid. Now drop down the ladder, and to the right is actually a dead end, so you don't have to go that way. We're just going to turn around, make our way through this crypt. There's again a lot of skeleton enemies in here. You can either run past them or you can kill them. It basically just depends on what you feel more comfortable with. There's quite a few, and they do resurrect a few times, so just make sure you kill them. There's going to be a dog there as well, as you saw. Make your way through this sort of chasm. Keep going straight. You'll eventually find a doorway with a ladder to drop down with a bunch of rats in there. You can take out the rats. You could try to climb the ladder without killing them, but I recommend just killing them. They don't take long, and you can use your shield if needed. You'll go up the stairs to your left. Now you're going to find another NPC that we can send back to the Firelink Shrine. You'll then have the option to touch her. Obviously ask for consent, but then once you do that, you'll be rewarded with a new gesture. Alright guys, keep talking to her after that gesture, accept her service, and then she will go to the Firelink Shrine. So as always, exhaust the dialogue, head through the gate over here that I'm struggling to press X on because I was playing Elden Ring a bit too much, and the command is a bit different in that game. But then speak to this NPC here again, go through his dialogue, and once he's repeating himself, we'll just head back to that area with the lift, which is on the left side of this area. So there you go, up there, make your way through the doorway and then down the lift yet again. Now you can actually go back to where this bonfire was, and you can kill this enemy with a fireball if you want. You can get some souls out of it. He won't be able to attack you from there. Now if you do choose to do that, just make sure that you rest to get your supplies back. We're going to make our way forward again and go through past these enemies here. And keep going past. You can just run past all of these enemies if you're quick, because they do an animation of them getting pissed off. So while they're doing that, just keep running, make your way through this archway. You're going to come across a bridge. Instead of going over that bridge with the enemies, you're going to drop off to the right side of it. You should be able to land there without dying. Then you're going to fight two dogs here, so just get ready for them. You can use the shield to block. That'll stagger them a bit, and then you can attack them again. So we took one out, and then this one's going to come at me, so we'll just block his attack. And then while he's staggered, we can take him out. Now there's going to be another ring here. So make sure you grab that, and then we have the Tome as well. So you need to grab this Tome because it's going to give us more spells, which is for a trophy. Now, in order to get back up top on the bridge where the enemies were, you can go outside to the left and up this path. There's going to be some more enemies. You can just run past them. You don't have to fight them. And then we're going to make our way to the next bonfire, which is straight ahead. Run all the way down. You'll see the bonfire there. You can activate the bonfire really quick. And there's two NPCs again. So go through their dialogue and have a chat with both of them. That way we can make sure that we progress the quest by going through all of the dialogue. And when you speak to the NPC to the right, that's going to give you a new Covenant trophy. So you get the Blue Sentinels trophy. That's another Covenant that we will have in the game unlocked. And after he's just repeating himself, from the bonfire, we will head directly down this path. We're going to go around the right side. So just keep going all the way down on this right side. There are two big-ass enemies on this right side. They can be a bit tricky. You only have to fight one at a time, so just make sure you don't pull the other one. Avoid these little guys as they poison you, but they're pretty slow. So kill the two big enemies and then come through this doorway. There is a knight down here that can be a bit tricky. If you're struggling with these enemies here and you're not able to kill them for whatever reason, you can run past them to grab this item at the very end of the hallway. This is going to be a coal that we give to the blacksmith to do different kinds of infusions, which is for another trophy. So you want to grab the Farron coal there. And again, if you can't kill the knight here, you can run straight past him, grab that, and then we can go to the next part. After you grab that coal from this doorway here, you'll go to the right inside of this lake. And you'll see a giant crab behind this tree. This giant crab is actually what we want to kill for our next ring. So he'll get really pissed off and just kind of zoom towards you to smack you with his claw. You want to fight him in the shallow end so that way you're not fat rolling or, moving sluggish. Keep attacking him. You can use some fireballs if you have those equipped. but ultimately just dodges attacks like that, hit him from behind, and eventually you'll kill him. Now, upon killing him, he does drop a ring that's beneficial for us. It's the Great Swamp Ring. You want to equip this because it does increase your pyro damage by 12%, and all of that's going to add up, especially when we get stronger spells. After killing him, just go around the side here with this big tree, and you'll see some items here. So you're going to get a Great Swamp Pyromancy Tome, as well as just some outfit, but you just mainly want the Tome. Now, after we grab the Tome, there's going to be an invasion that happens here. As you can see, I'm trying to trigger it, but I am not very smart. So again, like I said before, you do have to be embered for invasions. You can buy these from the Handmaid at Firelink Shrine if you have ran out. But go ahead and use your ember to trigger the invasion. And you want to just go up around this area here. Just run around until you get invaded by Yellowfinger. Now, he can be a little bit annoying to fight because he just kind of stands back and uses magic and, you know, a lot of annoying shit like that. But just take your time. Use the tree as a defense as well. You can kind of hide behind it. Then when he runs up to you, you can smack him. Now, once you kill him, you don't really get anything just yet, but you allow him to go to the next area and where we're going to fight him and eventually unlock a gesture. So, again, make sure you trigger that fight and make sure you defeat him as well. After that, we can make our way to our next checkpoint, which is going to be a bonfire. There's going to be 2 enemies right here, so make your way through here and then quickly avoid them. You're going to see they're really fucking pissed. And there's going to be a ladder there, so try and dodge the attack and then go down the ladder. If you're lucky, they're pretty bad and they'll just like yeet themselves off the ledge. So both of them died. That doesn't happen all the time, but if that happens to you, consider yourself lucky. And basically, if it doesn't happen to you, grab the bonfire and then you'll be fighting them down there because they tend to follow you. But then once you've killed them, grab the bonfire and you're good to go. Make your way back to the Firelink Shrine by using that bonfire. If you haven't done any upgrades yet, you can start upgrading your sword or your axe, whatever you've been using. I've just been using the long sword because eventually we're going to use pyro magic and we're just going to shit on bosses. After that, from the center of the Firelink Shrine, you are going to find a new NPC here. You want to talk to her until she starts repeating the same thing over and over. We're then going back to the bonfire. So she's right at the center, just so you remember. And what we're doing now is we're going to the halfway fortress where we met those 2 NPCs and we got the Blue Sentinels trophy. And as you can see here, the game is still active because we just ran into someone named Bob. But we can go forward. We're going to unlock another bonfire in this place. This time, instead of going the right path and then down the hill, we're going to the left and then down the hill. So keep going all the way left. There's going to be a lot of enemies with those sticks that try and poke you. Just avoid them. Keep dodging. Come around the water side here. You can kind of go on the shoreline by the trees. You can see they just absolutely fucked me with those. But just roll through. Now there may be a dog that aggroes to you right here. You can just quickly kill him and then activate the bonfire that's on top on this ledge. Usually a dog aggroes. For some reason he didn't aggro there. But just so you know, you might have to kill a dog. And then light the bonfire and run directly straight from the bonfire around this side of the building. And you'll see a big fire pit there. And to the right is a big enemy. I've killed him here to show you. So be careful because there are some enemies in here and there's also a big enemy. But you want to come down here to get an Estus Shard. You definitely want that because that's going to upgrade your flask yet again. And that goes towards our trophy. After that, make your way back to where we came from. But we're going to jump off into the water. And then go around the left to go in a doorway. It's kind of hidden over here. I'll give you a little bit of a reference point. Make your way inside. There's 2 items in here, but the main item we're after is the ring, which is just over here against the wall. There's also a big enemy in there as well, so be careful because he'll fucking pop out and start beating the ever-living shit out of you. Now that's another good ring to grab because it increases our casting speed by 30%, so you can equip that as well. After that, make your way back to the Firelink Shrine. That way you can upgrade the Estus Flask just to heal you a bit more. Next, we're going to get another NPC to send back to the Firelink Shrine for more abilities, as well as for, you know, progress towards trophies. You'll come through this building here that had that hole in the wall. There's going to be a lot of enemies, so just be ready to take them on. And then go over this bridge. There's going to be an enemy that pops out through this doorway, so just be ready for him. and then go around the left side here. There's going to be a staircase to go up. And when you make your way up here to the left, you're going to find the NPC. Go ahead and speak to him and exhaust all of his dialogue options, choosing the top option to basically accept learning from him, and also make a promise is the other option. Now, throughout the guide, I'm going to have times where I tell you to turn in a scroll to him. The reason you do that is because if you kill so many bosses without turning in a scroll, then you can actually cause him to despawn. So we need to just make sure that we are turning in scrolls before killing too many bosses. And again, I'll have that in the guide so that way you know what to do. After exhausting his dialogue, he'll be sent to Firelink Shrine. You can then drop down here. There's going to be enemies, as I said before, so just be careful. And then you can go through here to fight the Crystal Sage boss. The way this boss works is basically he spawns a bunch of copies. And if you're lucky, you can hit the right one. The right one has a purple orb, and the rest that are fakes have a blue orb. So you only want to attack the one with the purple orb. You also want to use the environment to block you from their attacks. So as you can see, I just hit the fake, and now I'm dodging behind stuff to try not to get hit by all of the spells that they're, kind of just barraging me with. Make your way to the purple. Wait until you have an opening, and then go ahead and attack them. After you do a few attacks, he'll kind of run away anyways, and sometimes it's good to do that just to get him to run away so then you don't die. And then you can have a chance to, heal up and then attack again. As you can see, I got the wrong one yet again, but just keep going, get him all the way down to 0, and you will finish off the boss. Okay, hold up. Now I thought I'd mention something that might come in handy while you guys are trying to kill bosses. If you're ever struggling, you can actually call people to help you or even a friend, and this will also benefit our Covenant farm a bit later in the end. So why don't I show you an example? You can equip the Covenant Warrior of Sunlight, so that way whenever you're doing co-op or doing a boss co-op, you'll get a Sunlight medal. Now eventually for the Platinum, we do need 30 of these Sunlight medals. However, you can farm them offline as well. You do not need to have bosses beaten in co-op in order to get these, but this is another way you can farm them passively if you're having a friend help you or if you're struggling on any of the bosses. I did feel that this was worth mentioning because then you could feed 2 birds with 1 stone, and you can get the Sunlight medals as well as get the help from your friends. And for those interested, you're probably like, great Bushido, but how do I do it? Well, if you go to the Firelink Shrine, you can buy this from the Handmaid, and this is a white sign soapstone. And whenever you have your friend put this sign down, then it'll appear on your screen as long as you're embered. So you do need to be embered. You just do it right before the boss room. As you can see here, it'll be highlighted when I'm in the right spot. You can then put it down. You can also go into the settings and change your multiplayer password so that way you can pair up with any of your friends effortlessly. Again, you do have to be embered, but I thought I would show you guys this. Now that we have that out of the way, again, if you don't have a friend to boost you or anything like that, do not worry. We will farm the Sunlight medals offline. They're very easy to get, so don't worry too much. Now let's finally jump right back into this. Okay, so once you kill the boss, you'll get a trophy and a boss soul, and then you can activate the bonfire and then head back to the Firelink Shrine. And also, this is actually the end of the video. My bad. I hope you guys are having a great time, and I will see you in the next one.